Commander Jack Harris stood at the observation window of the horizon's edge and looked down at Earth. The blue and green planet turned slowly below him, covered in swirling white clouds. He had seen this view 1,000 times, but it never failed to make him feel proud. That was his home. That was where humanity had grown strong. The door behind him opened with a soft hiss. Dr. Amy Walsh walked in, her tablet clutched against her chest. She was a small woman with short brown hair and sharp eyes that missed nothing. As Earth's leading geophysicist, she had spent the last 3 years aboard this alien research vessel, studying her own planet from space. "Jack, we have a problem," she said. Her voice was calm, but he could hear the tension underneath. He turned to face her. "What kind of problem?" "The kind that changes everything." She handed him the tablet. On the screen was a series of readings that meant nothing to him. He was a soldier, not a scientist. But the flashing red warnings told him enough. "Chief Scientist Morath made a discovery this morning," Amy explained. His team was running deep scans of Earth's interior. Standard stuff. They wanted to understand how our planet generates such a strong magnetic field. And they found something impossible. Amy took a deep breath. "Our core is not normal, Jack. It contains a combination of heavy metals and crystalline structures that should not exist together. And these structures are generating energy. Constant, perpetual energy. More power than any star in the known galaxy." Jack stared at her. "That cannot be right. I checked the data myself 3 times. It is right." She took back the tablet and pulled up a new image. It showed Earth's core glowing with brilliant light. The Coalition has cataloged over 2 million planets. None of them have anything like this. Our core is unique in the entire galaxy. The weight of her words settled over Jack like a heavy blanket. He had served as military liaison to the Galactic Coalition for 5 years. He knew how aliens thought. He knew what they valued. And he knew exactly what would happen when this news spread. "Who else knows?" he asked. Morath reported it to Ambassador Veltrix an hour ago. "The ambassador has already contacted the Coalition High Council." Jack closed his eyes. "Then it has already begun." The meeting room was cold, the way all alien spaces seemed to be. Jack sat at one end of the long table with Amy beside him. Across from them sat Ambassador Veltrix, his insectoid body clicking softly as he moved. The ambassador had 4 arms and compound eyes that reflected the light in strange patterns. He had always been friendly toward humans, but today his posture was stiff and formal. Chief Scientist Morath stood at the head of the table. He was a Draven, a reptilian species known for their brilliant minds and cold logic. His scales were dark green, and his yellow eyes studied the humans with open curiosity. "Let me be clear about what we have found," Morath said. His voice was deep and rasping. "Earth's core produces more energy in 1 rotation than most civilizations use in a century. If this power could be harvested, it would solve the energy crisis that has plagued the Coalition for generations." "Harvested how?" Jack asked. Morath hesitated. "There are methods. Core extraction technology exists. It has been used on uninhabited worlds before." Amy leaned forward. "Earth is not uninhabited. 8 billion people live there." "Yes," Morath agreed. "That is a complication." Ambassador Veltrix made a clicking sound that Jack had learned to recognize as discomfort. "Commander Harris, Dr. Walsh, I must be honest with you." The High Council's response to this news was immediate and intense. Several factions have already expressed interest in Earth's resources. "Interest," Jack repeated flatly. "You mean they want to take our planet? They want to discuss options. What options?" "You just said core extraction would be needed. Do you have any idea what that would do to Earth?" Amy answered before the ambassador could. "It would kill everyone, Jack. Extracting the core would destabilize the entire planet. The magnetic field would collapse. The atmosphere would be stripped away by solar radiation. Within a year, Earth would be a dead rock. Silence filled the room. Morath cleared his throat. The Coalition has procedures for situations like this. Populations can be relocated. Suitable colony worlds can be found. Jack stood up so fast his chair fell backward. Relocated? You want to move 8 billion people off their homeworld so you can strip it for parts? Commander, please understand, Veltrix said quickly. I am not advocating for this. I am simply telling you what others will propose. Earth has always been classified as a death world. Many species consider it barely habitable. They do not understand why humans would want to stay on such a dangerous planet. Because it is our home, Amy said softly. It is where we evolved, where we learned to walk and think and dream. You cannot just replace that. Jack picked up his chair and sat back down. His hands were shaking with anger, but he forced himself to stay calm. Getting emotional would not help anyone. What happens now? He asked. Veltrex's compound eyes dimmed slightly. The High Council will debate. Factions will argue. Legal claims will be filed. Earth is technically a provisional member of the Coalition, which gives you some protection. But the laws around Deathworld resources are complicated. How much time do we have? I do not know. Weeks, perhaps months. The ambassador paused. But I must warn you, Commander, not everyone will wait for legal approval. There are those who will act on their own. As if to prove his point, Jack's communicator buzzed. He looked at the message and felt his blood run cold. Jack? Amy asked. What is it? He showed her the screen. Long-range sensors had detected a fleet of ships entering the solar system. They were not Coalition vessels. They were Keth mining ships, heavily armed and moving fast. The race for Earth had begun. The Coalition High Council chambers were massive. They had been built to hold representatives from over 300 species, and today almost every seat was filled. Jack stood at the human delegation's platform, feeling very small beneath the towering ceiling. Beside him, Director Helen Park kept her expression calm and unreadable. Director Park was the head of Earth's planetary defense network. She was a tall woman in her 50s, with gray streaks in her black hair and eyes that had seen too many battles. When Jack had first met her, she had terrified him. Now he was grateful she was on his side. High Arbiter Zin floated at the center of the chamber. The Arbiter was an ancient being made of pure energy, glowing soft blue and white. No one knew how old Zin was. Some said the Arbiter had existed before the Coalition itself. When Zin spoke, everyone listened. We are gathered to discuss the matter of Earth, Zin announced. The Arbiter's voice seemed to come from everywhere at once. Specifically, the energy signature discovered within its core. Multiple factions have filed claims. We will hear them now. Trade Minister Krath was the first to speak. He was a Velian, a species that looked like tall, thin insects with too many joints. The Velians controlled most of the Coalition's trade routes, and they were always hungry for profit. The law is clear, Krath said, his voice high and sharp. Deathworlds are classified as uninhabitable. Resources found on uninhabitable worlds belong to whoever can extract them. Earth's core energy is therefore available for harvest. A murmur went through the chamber. Jack clenched his fists but said nothing. This was not his time to speak. Earth is inhabited, High Arbiter Zin pointed out. 8 billion sentient beings live there. Humans chose to remain on a death world, Krath replied. That was their decision. It should not prevent the rest of the galaxy from accessing vital resources. We are willing to pay for relocation costs. We are being more than fair. Director Park stepped forward. May I speak, High Arbiter? Zin's glow brightened slightly. You may. Helen Park looked around the chamber, meeting the eyes of as many delegates as she could. When she spoke, her voice was steady and strong. Trade Minister Krath calls Earth a Deathworld. He says it as if that makes us less important. But let me tell you what living on a Deathworld means. It means our children learn to survive before they learn to walk. It means every generation faces floods, earthquakes, hurricanes, and 100 other disasters. It means we have fought for every breath since the first humans stood upright. She paused. We did not choose to live on a dangerous planet. We were born there. We evolved there. Every cell in our bodies was shaped by Earth's challenges. And now you want to destroy our home because you found something valuable inside it. Director Park, Krath interrupted. You are being emotional. This is a matter of law and economics. No, Helen replied sharply. This is a matter of life and death. Dr. Walsh, please present your findings. Amy stepped up to the central display and activated it. A hologram of Earth appeared, showing the planet's internal structure in glowing layers. This is what will happen if you try to extract our core, Amy said. She spoke slowly and clearly, making sure everyone could understand. The extraction process requires drilling through the mantle to reach the outer core. This will trigger massive volcanic eruptions across the planet. The magnetic field will begin to collapse within days. She pressed a button and the hologram changed. It showed Earth cracking apart, oceans boiling, continents splitting. Within 3 months, the atmosphere will be stripped away. Within a year, there will be nothing left but rubble. 8 billion people will be dead long before then. As I said, Krath replied, relocation is an option. Relocation is not an option, Amy shot back. Moving 8 billion people would take decades. You would need thousands of transport ships running constantly. Where would they go? Which planets would accept them? Who would pay for food, housing, medicine? She shook her head. You are not offering us a solution. You are offering us a slow death instead of a fast one. The chamber fell silent. Jack watched the delegates' faces, trying to read their reactions. Some looked troubled. Others looked bored. A few, like Krath, looked annoyed that anyone would dare argue. High Arbiter Zinn spoke again. There is a precedent for this situation. 3 times before, civilizations have been relocated when valuable resources were discovered on their homeworlds. And what happened to those civilizations? Director Park asked. The Arbiter's glow dimmed slightly. They survived, but their cultures did not. Without their homeworlds, they lost their sense of identity. Within a few generations, they were absorbed into other species' territories. They exist now only in historical records. Jack felt something cold settle in his stomach. That was the future the Coalition was offering humanity. Not death, but something almost worse. Slow disappearance. Becoming a footnote in galactic history, Ambassador Veltrix stood up from his seat. I would like to propose a delay. Give humanity time to find an alternative solution. Perhaps the core's energy can be shared without destroying the planet. Impossible, Morith said from nearby. Our scans show the energy is generated deep within the core itself. There is no way to access it without extraction. Then perhaps extraction can be done gradually, Veltrix suggested. Over centuries instead of years. Krath made a dismissive sound. Unacceptable. The Coalition needs this energy now, not in 500 years. The debate continued for hours. Jack listened to every word, his hope fading bit by bit. The Coalition was not evil. Most delegates genuinely wanted to find a fair solution. But fairness meant different things to different species. And to many of them, 8 billion humans simply did not weigh as heavily as unlimited energy. Finally, High Arbiter Zinn raised one glowing limb. The chamber fell silent. The Council will take 30 standard days to review all claims and evidence. During this time, no extraction operations may begin. Earth's sovereignty will be respected. It was a small victory. Jack allowed himself to breathe, but the Arbiter was not finished. However, if no alternative solution is found by the end of this period, the Council will vote on whether to authorize resource extraction. That is the law. Jack looked at Director Park. She met his gaze with grim determination. 30 days. They had 30 days to save their planet. As they left the chamber, Jack's communicator buzzed. It was a message from Captain Ben Torres, commander of Earth flagship Resolute. Jack read it, and his heart sank. The Keth mining ships had not stopped at the edge of the solar system. They were moving toward Earth, deploying scanning probes into the planet's crust. The 30-day deadline meant nothing to everyone. The Resolute hung in orbit above Earth, like a guardian watching over its home. Captain Ben Torres stood on the bridge, his eyes fixed on the tactical display. 7 Keth mining ships were approaching, their hulls dark and angular. Each one was armed with weapons that could level a city. "They are ignoring our warnings," Lieutenant Claire Dunn reported from her station. She was young, barely 30, but she was the best pilot in Earth's fleet. Her hands moved across the controls with practiced ease. "They have deployed 12 scanning probes toward the Pacific region." Ben nodded slowly. "Open a channel." The main screen flickered, and a Keth commander appeared. Like all of his species, he resembled a giant mantis with armored plates covering his body. His name was Vexler, and he was known throughout the Coalition as someone who got what he wanted, no matter the cost. "Captain Torres," Vexler said, "you are in our way. This is sovereign Earth space. You have no authorization to be here." Authorization. Vexler made a clicking sound that might have been laughter. "The Council will give us what we want eventually. We are simply being efficient. Turn your ships around and recall your probes. This is your final warning." Vexler's compound eyes glittered. "Or what? Your little fleet cannot stop us. You have 1 warship and a handful of patrol vessels. We have 7 mining cruisers with military-grade weapons. Do the math, human." Ben smiled. It was not a friendly smile. "I already did." He cut the channel and turned to Claire. "Signal General Mason. Tell him it is time." On the dark side of the moon, deep beneath the surface, General Rick Mason received the message. He was a big man with a scarred face and hands that had broken many things. He had spent 40 years preparing for this moment. "Activate the grid," he ordered. Across Earth and its moon, hidden installations came to life. Weapons platforms rose from craters. Satellites that had appeared dead for decades powered up. Defense stations buried in mountains and ocean trenches began targeting the Keth fleet. On the Resolute, Claire watched her tactical display transform. What had been a handful of green dots representing human forces suddenly became hundreds. Then thousands. "What is happening?" one of her junior officers asked, his voice shaking. Claire grinned. "Humans have been living on a Deathworld for 200,000 years. Did anyone really think we would not learn to defend ourselves?" The Keth fleet stopped. Vexler appeared on screen again, and this time his arrogance was gone. His eyes darted across his own displays, trying to understand what he was seeing. "This is impossible," he said. "These weapons readings are wrong. Nothing should be this powerful." Ben leaned forward. "Our weapons are made from materials forged in Earth's extreme environments. Metals compressed under our planet's massive gravity. Alloys created in volcanic heat that would melt your ship's hulls in seconds. You came here thinking you would face primitives. You were wrong. You are bluffing. Try me." For a long moment, no one moved. Then Vexler snarled and gave an order. 2 of his mining ships broke formation and accelerated toward Earth. their weapons charging. Claire did not wait for permission. She launched her fighter squadron with a single command. 12 human fighters streaked through space, moving in patterns that made the aliens gasp. They dodged through asteroid debris, skimmed along the edges of the moon's gravity well, and used Earth's magnetic field to boost their speed. These were maneuvers that would kill most pilots. But human pilots had trained in conditions that would destroy alien bodies. Claire led the attack herself. Her fighter screamed toward the first Keth ship, missiles locked and ready. At the last second, she did not aim for the engines or weapon systems. She aimed for the probe launchers. The missile struck with perfect precision. The probe launchers exploded, but the ship itself survived. The crew would live. Target disabled, Claire reported. Moving to second ship. Within minutes, both Keth vessels were crippled but intact. Not a single alien had died. Wexler stared at the results in disbelief. You had clear shots at their reactors. Why did you not destroy them? Ben's voice was steady. Because we are not murderers. We protect our home. We do not slaughter those who threaten it. Not unless we have no other choice. The remaining Keth ships retreated to the edge of the solar system. They did not leave entirely, but they did not advance either. A temporary standoff had been achieved. That night, Jack met with Dr. Soreth in a hidden research station beneath the Atlantic Ocean. Soreth was a Draven scientist who had worked alongside Morith for decades. But unlike Morith, Soreth had spent time living among humans. She had come to respect them, even love them. I could not stay silent, Soreth said. Her scales were pale with stress, but her yellow eyes were determined. Morith knows more than he told the council. The Keth have been developing core extraction technology for years. They never planned to wait for legal approval. They always intended to take Earth by force. Amy sat across from her, recording everything. Why would Morith hide this? Because he is afraid. The Keth have threatened his family on Draven Prime. He is not a bad person, just a trapped one. Jack paced the small room. This information could change everything. If we can prove the Keth planned this from the beginning, the council will have to take action. There is more, Soreth said quietly. She pulled out a data crystal and placed it on the table. I have been studying your planet's core on my own. The energy signature is not just unique. It is alive. Amy froze. What do you mean, alive? The crystalline structures in your core are not random formations. They are organized. They pulse with patterns that resemble thought processes. Your planet has a consciousness, Dr. Walsh. It has been there since Earth formed 4 billion years ago. Jack stopped pacing. You are saying our planet is sentient? I am saying something lives in your core. Something ancient and powerful. And it knows we are here. Soreth's voice dropped to a whisper. I believe it has been watching over life on Earth since the beginning. Guiding it. Protecting it. Amy looked at Jack. The implications were staggering. If Earth's core was alive, then extracting it would not just be destroying a planet. It would be murder. Can we communicate with it? Amy asked. Soreth nodded slowly. I believe so. But it would require going deeper than any human has ever gone. Down to the research stations near the mantle boundary. The pressure alone would kill most species. Jack thought about Claire and her pilots, flying through conditions that killed aliens. He thought about General Mason's hidden weapons, forged in Earth's deadly environments. He thought about 8 billion people who had survived everything their planet threw at them. Then we go deep, he said. We find out what is down there. And we pray it is willing to help us. Above them, the Keth fleet waited. The coalition debated. And Earth's core pulsed with ancient light, waiting to see what its children would do. Lisa Gran had been a journalist for 20 years. She had covered wars, disasters, and political scandals on 3 continents. But nothing had prepared her for this. She sat in a small broadcast studio aboard the horizon's edge, looking into a camera that would send her words to billions of viewers across the galaxy. "My name is Lisa Grant," she said. "I am human, and I want to tell you about my home." The broadcast was illegal. Coalition law required all transmissions to go through official channels. But Ambassador Veltrix had quietly arranged for Lisa to use an old diplomatic frequency that the censors rarely monitored. By the time anyone noticed, her message would already be spreading. "You call Earth a death world," Lisa continued. "You say that word like it explains everything, like it makes us less than you. But let me tell you what death world really means." She held up images on the screen. A mother carrying her child through floodwaters. Firefighters running into burning buildings. Doctors working through the night to save lives after an earthquake. This is how we live. Not in spite of our planet's dangers, but because of them. Every challenge makes us stronger. Every disaster teaches us to care for each other. We do not survive alone. We survive together. Her voice cracked slightly, but she kept going. "Now you want to take our planet away. You want to rip out its heart for energy. And you expect us to just accept that. To walk away from the only home we have ever known." She shook her head. "We will not. We cannot. Earth is not just where we live. It is who we are. And we will fight for it until our last breath." The broadcast ended. Within hours, it had been copied and shared across thousands of worlds. Alien viewers watched these strange, stubborn creatures from a dangerous planet refuse to surrender. Some laughed at their foolishness. Others felt something stir in their hearts that they could not name. On the Draven homeworld, elder men watched the broadcast in silence. She was ancient, even by her species' standards. Her scales faded to pale gray. She had lived through the great wars of the previous era. She had seen civilizations rise and fall. And she remembered things that most had forgotten. When the broadcast ended, she called for her attendants. "Prepare my ship," she said. "I must speak to the High Council." The journey took 3 days. When men arrived at Axis Prime, the council chambers were in chaos. Trademaster Kroth was demanding immediate action against the illegal broadcast. Other delegates were arguing about the legality of Earth's hidden weapons. No one could agree on anything. High Arbiter Zinn noticed Min's arrival and called for silence. "Eldermen, you honor us with your presence. Do you wish to address the council?" Min moved slowly to the central platform. Her body was frail, but her eyes were sharp. "I have come to share a memory," she said. "A warning from the past." She activated the chamber's display system. Ancient records appeared, showing a planet that looked almost like Earth. Blue oceans, green continents, swirling clouds. "This was Keleth 7, Min said. "A beautiful world with a thriving civilization. And deep within its core, we found something remarkable. A living energy source, much like what has been discovered on Earth." The image changed to show massive machines drilling into the planet's surface. "We were younger then, more arrogant. We believed we could extract the energy safely. We believed the living core would simply give us what we wanted." The next image made several delegates gasp. It showed Keleth 7 torn apart, chunks of rock and fire spinning through space. A nearby star system burned with radiation. "The core did not surrender," Min said quietly. "When it died, it released all of its stored energy at once. The explosion destroyed not just the planet, but everything within 100 light years. 3 billion Draven died. Dozens of colonies were wiped out. It took us 2 centuries to recover." She turned to face the council directly. "That is what you are risking with Earth. Not just the death of 8 billion humans. Not just the loss of one planet. You are risking the destruction of this entire sector of the galaxy. Trade Minister Krath spoke up. That was millions of years ago. Our technology has improved. We can extract the energy safely now. Can you? Min asked. Have you tested your methods on a living core? Do you know for certain it will not fight back? She shook her head. I watched Callus 7 die. I will not watch it happen again. While the council debated, Amy descended into Earth's depths. The research station was called Deep Watch, and it sat 300 kilometers below the Pacific Ocean floor. The pressure there would crush any alien vessel in seconds. Even human technology strained at the limits. Amy sat in a small chamber filled with monitoring equipment. Around her, screens showed data from sensors that reached down toward the mantle boundary. The readings were unlike anything she had ever seen. Patterns that pulsed like heartbeats. Energy flows that moved like thoughts. Can you hear me? She asked softly. She felt foolish talking to a planet. But Sorath's data had been clear. Something was listening. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then the screens flickered. The data stream shifted, reorganizing themselves into patterns that almost looked like words. You came, said a voice that was not quite a voice. It resonated through the station's hull, through Amy's bones, through the very air she breathed. I have been waiting. Amy's heart raced. What are you? I am the heart of this world. I have many names in many languages. Your ancestors called me different things. Mother, Spirit, God. But those are just words. I am simply what I have always been. The Coalition wants to extract you, Amy said. They want to use your energy. I know. I have felt their machines probing. Their hunger is very loud. The voice paused. They do not understand what they are asking for. My energy is not a resource to be taken. It is a gift to be shared, but only with those who have earned it. Have we earned it? Humans, I mean. The voice seemed to consider this. You are my children. All life on Earth grew from seeds I planted billions of years ago. I watched you evolve. I guided you when I could. I wept when you suffered and celebrated when you thrived. The patterns on the screens pulsed warmly. Yes, you have earned everything I can give. Amy felt tears running down her cheeks. Men, help us, please. The Coalition will come for you. They have fleets and weapons and laws that say they can take whatever they want. I know, and I will not let them. The voice grew stronger, filling the chamber with resonant power. But I need you to understand something, Amy Walsh. I can destroy the fleet above your world with a thought. I can send energy pulses that would burn their ships from the inside out. But if I do that, millions will die. Not just aliens, but humans caught in the crossfire. Entire species will be traumatized. The scars will last for generations. Then what do? You fight your way, with courage and compassion, with the strength your world has given you. Show the galaxy what humanity truly is. Not conquerors, not victims, but something in between. Something new. Above Deep Watch, Commander Thex's extraction fleet dropped out of hyperspace. 40 warships, the largest military force ever assembled against a single planet. The 30-day deadline had expired, and the Coalition had voted to authorize resource extraction. General Mason received the news in his underground bunker. He looked at the tactical display, counting enemy ships. Then he looked at the faces of his officers, all of them young enough to be his children. This is it, he said. Everything we have trained for. Everything we have prepared. He straightened his shoulders. Today we show the galaxy what it means to be human. Today we fight for our home. The battle for Earth had begun. The first shots came at dawn over the Pacific. Commander Thex's fleet opened fire with plasma cannons and particle beams, their weapons lighting up Earth's orbital space like a second sunrise. The attack was meant to be overwhelming. It was meant to break human resistance before it could properly begin. It did not work. Earth's defense grid came alive with terrible fury. Weapons platforms hidden across the moon's surface launched volleys of missiles tipped with warheads forged in volcanic heat. Satellites that had orbited silently for decades unleashed energy beams powered by Earth's own magnetic field. And from bases buried beneath mountains and ocean floors, human fighters rose to meet the enemy. Claire Dunn led the first wave. Her squadron punched through the gap between two Keth battlecruisers, their fighters moving in patterns that made the alien tactical officers scream in confusion. No one should be able to fly like that. No one should be able to survive the G-forces those maneuvers required. But humans were not like other species. They had evolved on a world that tried to kill them every day. Their bodies were stronger, their reflexes faster, their tolerance for pain almost infinite by galactic standards. What would break an alien pilot barely made a human sweat. Target their weapon systems only, Claire ordered. We want them disabled, not destroyed. Her pilots obeyed. One by one, Bex's warships lost their guns, their engines, their ability to fight. The humans danced around them like wolves around wounded prey, never delivering the killing blow. On the surface, General Mason coordinated the ground defense. Alien drop pods had begun falling towards strategic locations, carrying soldiers who thought they would face primitive resistance. Instead, they found humans waiting in environments that no other species could survive. In the Mariana Trench, human submarines ambushed a Keth landing force at depths where the pressure would crush alien vessels. In the volcanic fields of Iceland, ground troops emerged from tunnels carved through molten rock, their armor designed for heat that would melt standard materials. In the frozen wastes of Antarctica, snipers picked off invaders from positions buried under ice that alien sensors could not penetrate. Commander Dex watched his tactical display turn red with disabled units. "This is impossible," he said, his mandibles clicking with fury. "They are Deathworlders. They should be weak. They should break." His second officer looked at him with something like fear. "Commander, they are not breaking. They are not even slowing down. And they are not killing us." "What?" "Our casualties are minimal. They are deliberately sparing our troops." The officer shook his head. "I have never seen anything like it. They could destroy us. They are choosing not to." Deep beneath the Pacific, Amy felt the battle raging above. The voice had fallen silent after their conversation, but she could sense its presence. It was watching, waiting. "Why are you not helping?" she asked. "You said you could end this." "I told you," the voice replied. "If I intervene directly, the cost will be too high. Your species must prove itself. Not to me. To the galaxy. People are dying up there. Yes, and every death breaks my heart. But this moment will define humanity's place among the stars for millennia. If I fight your battles for you, you will always be seen as the pets of a powerful being. If you fight for yourselves, you will be seen as equals." Amy closed her eyes. She understood. She hated it, but she understood. Jack was aboard the Resolute when the tide began to turn. He had been coordinating communications between the fleet and ground forces, watching human courage match alien technology time and time again. But they were outnumbered. Slowly, inevitably, the coalition forces were pushing through. Then his communicator buzzed with an incoming transmission. It was from a coalition captain named Yen, commanding one of the smaller support vessels. "Human ship Resolute, this is Captain Yen of the Vigilance. We wish to discuss terms." Jack frowned. "Terms of surrender? Terms of defection?" Yen's voice was tired but determined. "I have watched your people fight today. I have seen you spare our lives when you could have killed us. I have seen your pilots risk death to disable rather than destroy." A pause. This is not what we were told would happen. We were told humans were savages, dangerous animals that needed to be contained. We are just people trying to protect our home. Yes, I understand that now. Another pause, longer this time. I will not participate in genocide. Neither will the crews of 11 other vessels. We are standing down. Jack felt his throat tighten. Thank you, Captain. One by one, more coalition ships followed. The broadcast Lisa had made weeks ago had spread farther than anyone realized. Alien crews had seen humans for what they truly were, and many of them could not stomach what they were being asked to do. Commander Dex found himself commanding a fleet that was falling apart. His remaining ships were damaged, his troops scattered, his allies turning against him. But still he refused to retreat. His pride would not allow it. All ships, focus fire on their homeworld, he ordered. If we cannot have the core, no one will. His weapons officers hesitated. Commander, that would kill billions. Do it. They did not get the chance. From deep within Earth, the voice finally spoke. Not to Amy, not to the humans. To everyone. Its words resonated through every ship, every communication system, every mind in the solar system. It was not loud. It was not angry. It was simply vast, like the sound of a star breathing. Enough. Every weapon in Nexus fleet powered down simultaneously. Every engine went silent. Every system locked in place. 40 warships hung motionless in space, utterly helpless. I have watched this war with sorrow, the voice said. I have seen courage and cruelty, mercy and hate. And I have made a decision. The voice paused, and everyone listened. I am old. Older than your coalition. Older than most stars in this region of space. I have nurtured life on this world for billions of years. I have watched countless species rise and fall. And through it all, I have dreamed of children who would grow strong enough to reach the stars. The patterns beneath Amy's station pulsed with warm light. Humanity is those children. Not because they are perfect. They are not. They are flawed, stubborn, often foolish. But they are also brave, compassionate, and capable of growth. They have earned their place at the cosmic table. High Arbiter Zin's voice came through the communication channels. What do you want? I want to make an offer. My energy cannot be taken, but it can be given. I will share my power with any species that ask peacefully. Small amounts enough to help, not enough to destroy. This is my gift to the galaxy, delivered through my children. The voice addressed Commander Dex directly. You came to take. You leave with nothing. But if you return in peace, you will be welcomed. That is the human way. Dex's mandibles trembled. He had lost. Not just the battle, but everything he had believed about strength and power. He gave the order to retreat, and no one questioned him. In the aftermath, High Arbiter Zin declared Earth a protected sovereign world. The voice was recognized as a sentient being with full rights under coalition law. No extraction would ever be attempted again. More importantly, humanity's reputation transformed overnight. They were no longer seen as dangerous Deathworlders to be feared or exploited. They were seen as protectors, peacekeepers, living proof that strength and compassion could exist together. A week later, Jack and Amy stood on an observation platform above the Pacific. Below them, the ocean sparkled in the morning sun. Above them, coalition ships passed peacefully, many of them carrying diplomats eager to establish proper relations with Earth. We did it, Amy said softly. We actually did it. Jack nodded. He could feel the voice humming beneath their feet, a constant presence now that he knew to listen for it. It felt like standing on the chest of a sleeping giant, warm and alive and ancient beyond comprehension. The voice called us its children, Amy continued. Do you think that is true? That it has been watching over us all along? I think it does not matter, Jack replied. What matters is what we do next. We have a chance to help build something better. A galaxy where power is shared instead of taken. Where species work together instead of fighting over resources. He looked up at the stars, visible even in the daylight through the thin upper atmosphere. Somewhere out there, billions of beings were watching Earth with new eyes. Some with hope, some with suspicion, all with curiosity. The voice said, "We earned our place," Jack said. "Now we have to prove we deserve to keep it." And he smiled and took his hand. Below them, Earth turned slowly, its ancient heart beating with the steady rhythm of 4 billion years. The Deathworld had become something more. A beacon. A promised dot, and its children had finally grown up.